Hello, good morning. Hi, marhaba. Thank you for joining our webinar, which will be focused on the situation of our fellow artists, Africans on the COVID-19 crisis. Actually, the aim of the webinar is to inform and sensitize public opinion on the current situation of African artists in Africa, because as you know, COVID-19 crisis damaged everything on a economic level, health, social, politics also. And we, as AAPI, as African Artist Peace Initiative, we are really concerned about art activists and how to use creative art, how to change Africa by the leverage of arts. And we believe that our artists, the people who work on reflecting our emotions on poetry, on sculpture, music, they are the most concerned ones about what happened now. And as we see that the artistic field has been really affected by COVID-19, that's why we come up with the idea of the webinars to link African voices from all of the continent, from the north, from the south, from the east and west of Africa. We African artists, how we perceive the situation of art during Corona and how we have been affected by this crisis. I really want to welcome to all of our dearest panelists, my African follows. Welcome to the webinar. I'm Vashi Weenet. I'm Tunisian coordinator of AAPI. And I would like to introduce for a short time about AAPI. As you know, we are a Pan-African movement of artists, and we work on communication and cultural diplomacy. And we believe that we can be as tool of to champion the culture of peace and social justice in Africa. Well, I don't want to talk too much, and I want to say marhaba and welcome to our colleagues as the Association of Ifriqiya, who are helping us and helping us in hosting this event. Yassine Bassem, welcome. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
You're muted, Basim. Basim, I can't hear you.
Contribute to the achievement of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals.
Hello.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I would like to thank all the panelists, the moderator, and the organizers, and all the audience of this interesting webinar. Ifriqiya Association is a Tunisian association who is founded in 2019. So this association is focusing on human rights and development orientations. The main objective of the association is to contribute to the achievement of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. This contribution by three areas. The first area is working on integrating and participating in the continent context. So, via this association, we try to make Tunisia more integrated and more participative in the African context. The second area is advocating to the environmental issues locally, nationally, and regionally. The third area of work is defending the human rights and liberties, especially those who are related to the environmental questions. So we may try to make different and various activities via various also methods like making, designing, implementing social initiatives, like making advocacy campaigns, also forums, etc. And during the pandemic period, like almost of the associations, we tried to not stop our activities, but we made a session of webinars, various webinars dealing with different contexts and issues like economy, like environment, and also like Tunisian African cooperation. So this webinar is in this context and also in the context of celebrating the African Youth Day. So I wish you a happy African Youth Day. Thank you and goodbye.
You. Hello. Hi. Thank you, Basim. Thank you. And happy African Youth Day. Happy African Youth Day to all African champions, our brothers and sisters who are working on peace building, on resolving conflicts, on art, on artistic field, on African empowerment, on the all of sectors. Happy African Youth Day. You are the champion of you are the African uh, champions. I like to say something that Ifriqiya is the old name of Tunisia. In the past, Tunisia, Algeria was named by Ifriqiya. So we are Africans since the old time. This is what I want to mention, really, and I want to stress on this. Thank you, Bassem, for your kind words and your kind presentations. I'd like to ask Mr. Ibrahim, the executive director of IAPI, to give his speech. Or oh, Mr. Brian, hello, Brian.
Hello, Maha.
Yes, hi, Brian.
Hi.
Brian, programs director on behalf of IAPI. So please, Brian, would you like to introduce IAPI in a few words and deliver your recommendations and what do you wish for African artists and for African youth champions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Maha. On behalf of Director Mr. Brian Cisse, I would like to give some very few remarks of happy what you've done in the past and the future, and what our position on the African artist is as far as COVID is concerned. So API is about 5 years old. It was launched in Ethiopia in January 2015 along the margins of the African Union Heads of State Summit, which normally happens in January every year. So we're a movement of Pan-African artists, activists, and peace activists, in short, peacifists, and also art activists, in short, activists. So we have about 33 chapters in Africa. We also have about 90 ambassadors who are mostly celebrities and personalities in art. So we hope to really transform the narrative of arts, of peace rather, using arts as a weapon for cultural diplomacy. We have 5 flagship projects, which is the first one is Arts for Peace African Forum, happens annually, where we convene all artists across the country to celebrate their achievements in peace. We also have Global Citizenship Education. We also have African Cultural Renaissance Campaign 2018-2022. And the last one is National Action Factory for Peace and Social Justice in Africa. So far, we managed to have 5 annual Arts for Peace forums, depending on every theme, which is usually determined by the African Union. So our reports are available online. I can share the links for our reports. I can also share the link to our website for everyone who is interested to access and see our activities and what we do. I want to support or rather commend countries which have set aside some funds for that is to access during these hard times of COVID. For instance, I'm aware Kenya, my country, set aside around 100 million Kenya shillings, that's roughly $1 million, for artists to access for them to survive the COVID period. I also know Burkina Faso and even South Africa had set aside some funds for artists to access as they go through the loss occasioned by COVID-19. So all other countries which have done so, I want to say a very big thank you. And the countries which have not set some fund for artists are really requested to do so to at least help our artists cope with these hard times of COVID-19. With those few remarks, I'd like to stop there and wish us a very, very fruitful webinar. Thank you, Maha. Maha, you're muted.
Brian, thank you for your concise remarks. And we really call and pledge all African countries to help and stand by their artists, because all actually it's in Tunisia, our artists are really suffering from of a really vulnerable economic situations during the COVID-19 crisis. And I really like, and I hope that the Ministry of Culture and the government implement the policies to stand by them and to help them to overcome their difficulties. And I hope that all of African countries took Kenya and as a champion, because our artists, they really need support. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce Professor Mohammed Semi Bshir. And I'd like to say that Professor Mohammed Semi is going to speak in French. And after he finishes, I will translate what he said into English. Thank you, Mohammed Semi. The floor is yours.
Oui, vous m'écoutez?
Oui, bien sûr. Yeah, it's okay.
Donc, très bien, très bien. Donc, d'abord, je salue tous les efforts déployés par l'Association africaine pour les artistes et les initiatives pour la paix. Cette rencontre, elle est nécessaire justement pour partager les expériences et les difficultés rencontrées lors de pandémie Covid-19. À vrai dire, je veux commencer par la logique même de la pratique artistique. La pratique artistique, elle est ouverte sur l'intra- et l'extraterritorialité. C'est-à-dire que aucune pratique artistique ou culturelle ne peut être renfermée sur elle-même. Elle est faite pour être ouverte sur le monde. Nous, les artistes africains, les associations africaines, aussi, on a besoin d'entretenir cette interactivité avec l'altérité et avec l'autre en général. Donc nous voyons aujourd'hui dans le monde entier est affecté par cette pandémie, par justement cette situation de confinement qui a limité les activités artistiques, les activités culturelles. Nous voyons bien que des festivals ont été annulés, des expositions, des artistes qui se retrouvent dans des situations précaires, qui se trouvent dans des situations quand même limitées sur tous les plans. Donc, d'où justement ce besoin de se retrouver ensemble pour parler de ces difficultés qui, malheureusement, jugent la vie artistique et culturelle dans l'Afrique en particulier. Il est vrai que le monde entier, il est touché par le Covid-19, mais l'Afrique reste quand même un espace très vulnérable parce que l'écosystème culturel, il n'est pas, même s'il est institutionnalisé, il n'est pas ne fait pas partie de la roue économique, il n'est pas entré dans le financement réel et économique. Donc, on se retrouve vraiment dans une situation doublement vulnérable par rapport à l'économie et à l'écosystème culturel africain et aussi par rapport à l'économie des pays africains en général. D'où justement ce besoin de se repositionner, de voir comment on peut réagir, comment on peut réfléchir autour de cette situation tout à fait délicate. Il est vrai que les musées, les artistes, les galeries, les musicologues, les hommes de théâtre, de cinéma, les arts visuels en général, tout est freiné. Il n'y a pas justement la possibilité de mouvance. Donc, on se retrouve quand même encloîtré dans des territoires très limités et on ne peut plus vraiment être actif tel qu'on l'espère et tel on a l'habitude de vivre ensemble. Donc, cette situation, justement, a créé des ultimatums, a créé des façons, des stratégies pour faire face, justement, à cette situation délicate. Donc, on remarque aussi qu'il y a une grande numérisation, un grand espace numérique commun pour partager des expériences, pour partager des expositions virtuelles, des concerts aussi virtuels. Mais il ne faut pas que cette solution aussi tue le côté perceptif direct, l'aspect sensoriel, parce qu'on a besoin de voir directement, de sentir, de vivre l'expérience de l'œuvre, qu'elle soit visuelle, qu'elle soit musique, qu'elle soit théâtrale, etc. Donc, ici, on se retrouve dans une situation là où il faut vraiment réfléchir sur une stratégie nouvelle, une stratégie qui prend en considération toutes les possibilités et tous les moyens qui peuvent être mis à notre disposition, à savoir la distanciation sociale, limiter peut-être les contacts, mais essayer de retrouver aussi d'autres modalités, d'autres moyens qui nous permettent justement de tracer notre chemin futur en tant qu'artistes africains et en tant qu'hommes de culture africains. Donc ici, il y a un besoin d'échange des expériences intra-africaines, c'est-à-dire comment on peut réagir, comment on peut promouvoir l'artiste africain, comment on peut préoccuper réellement notre place dans ce monde. Nous savons bien que l'art africain, il a toujours inspiré les artistes du monde entier et que nous, les artistes africains, nous avons la mission justement de créer notre propre paysage culturel approprié à nous. Donc, il faut que nous trouvons des solutions qui seront adaptées à l'environnement, adaptées à cette situation quand même assez délicate. En ce qui me concerne, personnellement, je suis lancé sur un projet artistique qui est chapeauté par le ministère de la Culture tunisien et le Fonds africain pour la culture. Il s'agit d'une installation nomade, donc déplaçable, démontable, transportable. C'est dans cette mouvance que l'œuvre, je pense, doit réagir. Donc, il faut qu'on trouve des solutions adaptées à cette situation délicate. Personnellement, je vois que il faut peut-être limiter le contact, mais être actif. Il ne faut pas baisser les bras. Il faut aller jusqu'au bout. il faut que les associations, les acteurs de la vie sociale, etc., doivent mener des efforts chevauchés, des efforts communs afin de faire avancer justement les expériences artistiques et culturelles. On ne doit pas baisser les bras, on doit trouver des solutions. Par exemple, dans le Nord-Afrique et spécialement en Tunisie, il y avait des solutions qui restent quand même très limitées, qui n'accèdent pas vraiment à une vision réelle ou des résolutions réelles. Question de créer des, des nouvelles lois, etc. Mais ça reste toujours limité. Nous comprenons ici que l'artiste, c'est la chaîne la plus faible, justement, de la vie culturelle. Parce que l'artiste, il vit de son art et c'est tout un système qu'il faut vraiment savoir pousser vers l'avant afin que nous pouvons justement, nous les Africains, on puisse tracer notre chemin, que ce soit au niveau culturel, au niveau artistique en général. Et justement, il faut rappeler que l'Afrique a toujours traversé des moments difficiles et que l'art émane justement de cette tragédie, ces souffrances de la vie. Ce n'est pas une gaieté d'être artiste, c'est vraiment puiser dans les sources et les ressources afin d'aller jusqu'au bout. Donc, les artistes et les associations culturelles africaines doivent faire des efforts en commun afin de retrouver des solutions et de tracer le chemin ensemble. Il est très nécessaire justement à ce niveau de réfléchir sur une stratégie africaine adaptée à notre continent et non pas seulement adapter des solutions qui nous parviennent de l'étranger. Donc, on sait bien que l'Afrique, il y avait des difficultés dans pas mal de pays. Donc, nous, on est habitués, entre autres, à ce genre de difficultés. On doit justement continuer à créer, on doit continuer à évoluer ensemble et on doit justement tracer notre chemin en trouvant des solutions adaptées justement à l'environnement social, culturel et politique culturel. Voilà, je vous remercie infiniment et je vous cède la parole.
Yassine, hello. So please, I'll be glad if Yassine can share with us some piece of arts created by Professor Mohammed Semi Bashir. I'll be happy because I really like to reintroduce you, Professor, to our audience. Mohammed Semi Bashir, he's a multidisciplinary visual artist. He's artistic, practical, concerned to contemporary territories of painting in the area of contemporary experimentations. In his practice, he's crossing several heterogeneous possibilities and integrating through the pictorial material and certain aesthetics of the unpredictable. What I mean that Professor Mohammed Semi, his work is based on l'art nomade, the art of how we can say it in English. Nomadic art. And we are really happy and pleased to have you, Professor, with us because he has more informations about how the COVID-19 pandemic has the devastating effects on African culture and creative sectors, which have yet to industrialize. Actually, in Africa, let me talk about North of Africa. We don't have a culture and industry. Actually, the concept of eco culture it's not yet developed in our country. So when we talk about investing in cultural projects and promoting our cultural heritage, because when professor talk about the nomadic arts, which is really um, which concern a huge part of our Tunisian patrimony, even our African patrimony. The government and our cultural policies, they don't have that much fund to support artists in their project to preserve this heritage and to make it alive. And after the crisis, the situation is getting more and more worse. Uh, and from my position, I really want to join the call of Professor Mohammed Semi to implement policies and to implement policies to help our artists, our African fellows in their projects. Thank you, Professor. And I will send you the English version of his interventions very soon. Thank you.
I
And
thank you very much.
you are welcome. This is Africa. We speak several languages, and the main of the webinars that to give voices to all of Africa, all of Africans artists. And next webinars, we will have speakers with the Swahili language, with Arab, with Berber language, with all of African language. Let's work hard to make it happen. Now I give the floor to who's the next speaker? I think Mr. Yannick Wams or Wams. Salut Wams.
Yes.
Yannick.
Salut, Maya. Good morning, everybody.
Thank you. Bonjour Wams. So Wams, you can speak in French, whatever language you want.
Hi guys. Hi. Good morning, guys. Greetings from Cameroon. Just so if you know, Cameroon is a bilingual country. We speak English and French. Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis très ravi de faire votre connaissance, Ma et toute l'équipe, le professeur. Bonjour. Good morning, everybody. I just want to be sure you guys can hear me. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear.
Yes, I want to be sure
we can hear
everybody
you.
can
I can hear you.
Okay. From Cameroon, I think we have a very peculiar situation in Cameroon. First of all, a country that is internet access is still very low here in Cameroon. It's just over 21%. You can imagine. So my network itself might not very be the best. Made up of over 25 million people growing. Two linguistic colonial heritage, that's English and French, with 80% French-speaking population and 20% English-speaking population. Within the country, we have over 256 ethnic groups with diverse different cultures, with the coastal cultures being the most dominant by virtue of the fact that they were the first persons that got exposed to modern day civilization and had most of their cultural works documented. As it stands, I'll just go straight to it. COVID-19 has taken a very huge toll on arts and culture in my country. First of all, given that, like you all know, artists and culture stakeholders basically depend on events, showcases, concerts, and stuff like that for survival. COVID-19 only came to make a situation that was already bad worse. It was declared COVID-19 was officially declared here in my country on March 16th, 2000 this year, and we were put on lockdown for 6 months. Lockdown that was to run from it was to run from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. We were free to go out from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And we all know that the creative industry mostly thrives. I'm speaking for myself because as I'm a musician. Um, I play with a band. I'm lead singer with one of the leading bands in my country. We mostly play in clubs, play in pubs, and make music to put food on our table. So the music and art industry in my country before the advent of COVID-19 has not been faring very well. First of all, because hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we
Once
can hear
we are
you.
hearing. Yeah, we can hear you. It's
I
okay. Please
I just want
continue.
to be sure.
Non, non,
Okay,
ça va,
okay.
tout est bien. Vas-y.
Okay, so I was saying that before the advent of COVID-19, the music industry in Cameroon the music and the arts industry in Cameroon could be said to be in its infancy because the stakes of an arts and culture industry are supposed to be developed on different fronts. Our industry is still more of uh, we have a music and arts industry that is so dependent and reliant on state subvention for survival. So each time the government takes off the subvention from the arts and culture ministry, most artists cry foul. So COVID-19 only came to add on to different struggles that the industry has been going through. When the lockdown was imposed, most musicians like myself and musicians and other artists, creative persons, had to look for other alternative methods of surviving. Some opted to do digital shows on the internet, to be able to reach out to their fans, to keep yeah, their craft going. But most of the times they're limited because, like I said, internet access in my country is only over 21%. For a country that is over 25 million. And there is also lack of, uh, our country is still needy in the domain of infrastructure, like uh, concert venues, exposition plateaus where people can get to express themselves, present their works for exhibition, so people can actually buy their craft. Um, what most artists are doing nowadays is uh, putting themselves together, working on joint projects, uh, applying to the Ministry of Arts and Culture for subvention so as to be able to mitigate the effects of COVID-19 on their craft. This COVID-19 has also come to meet a socio-political situation that is very, very critical as we speak. In my country now, there is a divide, a war that is been going on for the last 4 years. The 20% minority English-speaking Cameroonians who have a different cultural heritage, they were colonized by the British, whereas the 80% majority who are French-speaking were colonized by the French. 50 years on after independence, there's a lot of political disparity. The English-speaking population feels marginalized. The French majority is encroaching into their politics with French domination and stuff. It affects even the arts. As an English-speaking Cameroonian that I am obliged to move to the capital city of the country or the economic city of the country, Douala, where most of the opportunities are, and I'm obliged to study French to speak in French most of the time. I can't very much express myself in the in language that's supposed to be second to my mother tongue. So those are some of the challenges that musicians are facing on top of the COVID-19. As it stands, there's a revolution in the arts and culture industry in Cameroon. Young people are looking up to taking administrative offices in order to bring in new impetus in the management of arts and culture in the country. Because for the last 50 years, it has mostly been an industry where the government dictates how musicians should write songs. There's been a whole lot of censorship. You cannot sing about this. You cannot sing about that. You cannot sing about yes, and so on. And with the fact that technology has come for most musicians these days, and artists are taking advantage of technology to break free of the censorship and make music that could appeal to different parts of the world, and to be able to have multiple sources of income as far as that is concerned. Unless you have specific questions, I'll be ready to answer. This overview is good so far.
Wams.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Yes, can you hear
Wams,
me?
can you hear me, right? Yeah. I can
Yes, I
hear
can hear
you.
you, ma.
So I have only one question. What do you recommend, for instance? What's your own recommendation as a singer, as a human rights defender, as a peace builder? You, Wams Classic, who I like your songs, your writing, your piece of arts, and I really encourage you to follow his YouTube channel. Wamsi Classic has beautiful songs. Please, Wams, what do you recommend? Hello? Hello? I think Wams he can't hear me. Hello? Hello? Okay. Thank you, Wams, for your speech, for your deliver, and for your concern about artists, singers, and activists in Cameroon and in all of the continent. And I would like to give the floor to Mr. Yannick. Hello, Yannick from Rwanda. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Yes, Yannick. Yannick, musician and drummer, and I'm one of his fan also. I like his performance and your
Thank
beautiful
you.
and handsome profile Facebook pictures. I love it. I love it. I
Thank you.
like it. All what you do
Thank you, ma.
to promote our African heritage and culture. You are such an African pride. Thank you, Yannick. And the floor to talk about
Thank
your
you so much.
experience on helping your community during the COVID-19 crisis. Please, Yannick.
Okay, thank you for giving him time to exchange with you over this sanitary crisis. And first of all, I would like to thank African Artists for Peace Initiative for having organized this noble initiative to exchange. And also have my greetings from Kigali, Rwanda. We are very pleased to be exchanging at this time. So, as everybody mentioned earlier, this pandemic, during this period of the global COVID-19 pandemic, artists have been heavily affected by the consequences of the pandemic, and could not be able to run their usual activities. And there has been a drastic loss in terms of contract engagement, and the anti-COVID-19 measures has led to a halt, postponement, and or cancelled of planned activities. So it has been like a disaster for artists here in Rwanda who were doing well, who were like improving well in this industry. So we've been experiencing a big challenge during this time. Yes, of course, we didn't be discouraged to continue our activities, even though we've been passing through difficult situation. You know, there is a part of financial status and also mental status due to this nationwide lockdown. It was not easy for many artists here in Rwanda to really handle this situation. Most of them have been desperated, hopeless, and in full of uncertainty. Till now, they don't know how this will end. Yes, of course, we are experiencing now some progress. I mean, with also the government, how they are easing restrictions to permit people to step by step come back to normal life. So as artists, starting by ourselves, it was not easy. I'm used to work with big teams, with different artists. It was not easy even for us. Till now, our center is still closed. We cannot make practice, even though some restrictions are being eased. But still, we are waiting patiently to go back to our normal activities. You know, many artists, as others mentioned earlier, depend on events, on concert festivals. I mean, the various events. So now we are still limited to run events in the whole country. Yes, with all of these challenging situation, yes, as many other some other countries, even here in Rwanda, we have perceived some interventions from the government of Rwanda that intervened under the cultural and creative industry recovery plan to support enterprises in the cultural and artists as well to recover from COVID-19. And also this program was focusing on supporting 7 federations in Rwanda in the sectors of music, film, plastic arts, writing, beauty and fashion, etc., and also traditional dance and performing arts. Yeah, it has been a good initiative, but as Mohammed said, we are still having a long way to go to fill this gap of lacking to work together as artists to perform effectively in our area. So seeing different initiatives and interventions from different even institutions, organizations, but we still need really to be empowered in terms of like capacity building and leadership among artists, because it seems that we are still working in solo, and that is a big challenge for artists to make progress and also to perform effectively as artists. Because I believe that as artists we should like working together, we should like networking, and also sitting down together, brainstorming like what we are doing now. I think we need to improve this this network so that we can work together. So the government of Rwanda has provided around 3 million Rwandan francs in grant to support these initiatives from art enterprises and artists. With the organizations, our organization, Iteka Youth Organization, there I'm going to say like an artist, as an artist, I brought my contribution through our organization, Iteka Youth Organization. We initiated like a community project to promote self-reliance and resilience to the community in the outskirts of Kigali, Rwanda, where we provided over 200 masks and hygienic materials to support, to assist vulnerable people in this area. So it was not easy because we had also to accompany it with psychosocial support. You know, many people here have been challenged with this situation mentally. So they really needed to be supported and to be oriented and to comfort them and to show them that this is a transit time. We will get out of this situation. We will come back to our normal life. Because, you know, here in Rwanda, for example, wearing a mask is an obligatory. And, you know, some of the people here, most vulnerable people, cannot like buy themselves like face mask or these hygienic materials. So we tried as an organization to do advocacy and to knock to different organizations. And I would take this time to also thank the Pollination Project that has supported us in this project to reach out vulnerable people in this area. So that's what we have been doing, and they were still doing it now, where we have some women who are still learning to tailor and design through Iteka Community Project. So apart from this, there is also another way we've been dealing with health, mental health during this COVID-19. Despite the anti-COVID-19 measures, we tried all our best to come together with the finalists of East Africa's Got Talent from Rwanda. We produced a song named Imbaraga. Imbaraga means strength. Yeah, we really noticed that we need to empower one another and to encourage each other during this time and even after this crisis, because this situation will not remain there. but we get out of this situation at a certain point. Then we came together as one people and say, no, we don't need to waste our strength. We need to come together as artists so that we can be effective more than working in solo. Then we produced a song called Imbaraga. Imbaraga as strength or power. In the context of unit is strength. If we are united, we can achieve more, we can do great things, even be very effective to the transformation, development of this continent. And also, it has helped us to have this feeling that it's not the end of the world. Yes, challenges will be there, but we need always to think about how we can endure challenges and also find sustainable solutions in our industry, and also encourage others. So this has helped not only we as artists, but also the society to see that, yeah, despite this situation, people can still work, people can still be courageous and try themselves to boost themselves, and also to not be dominated by the disaster, if I can say that. Like, yeah, because the pandemic has been like a disaster around the world, and for artists it has been even worse. So this song has helped us to feel motivated and encouraged, yeah, to work together and to send the message of unity around the continent, even beyond the continent. We really passed a very difficult situation as artists on our side, seeing like many contracts, many activities, tours that were being organized and planned in the continent, in Africa, even out of Africa, but all have been halted and most of them even cancelled. So it has been really a disaster. So we needed something that would come and encourage us, and also to see that everything happened for a reason. Yeah, so now I think we are slowly getting out of this situation, even though we are still waiting to go back to our, at least, practice. But we are really encouraged. We are really encouraged. We have learned a lot during this sanitary crisis. We saw many things. Now we are trying to fix ourselves and see how far we can go during this time. Or something else I would like to say, I would like to emphasize a lot of these things of working together as artists. And here I will call upon and also recommend even the African Union and also other artists to come together and make a strong network to work together, so that we can help this continent to get out of many difficulties we are experiencing since many years ago. We have this tendency of reacting when we see things already happened. But as artists, we don't know yet to anticipate challenges, or to find already sustainable solutions before things get worse. I have been seeing different artists around this continent reacting in different countries, all of them in their context, maybe in the political area, maybe in the unemployment and things that are making their countries not progress. So I would say if we put much effort in empowering young people, when I'm talking about young people, just understand even young artists. We are seeing different artists that are performing well, that are using the opportunities to become solutions to other people, to the coming generation. If you could permit me, I can also mention 2 or 3 artists who are performing well and who are inspiring the other artists, including me. Yeah, I've been a lot inspired by some artists like Akon, like Tiken Jaffa, who are helping young generation to get quality education, to improve their living conditions around this continent. And I would like to mention that success is not only getting viewers, getting views on YouTube, getting subscribers, followers, but it's beyond that. But I think success is how many people's life your act is transforming, your act is impacting positively. So we are seeing many artists in Africa who are trying. We still have few artists who are acting in network. So if we get artists like those I've just mentioned, we could perform well and we could transform this continent in the short term than expected. Yeah, I think I would like to ask the African Union to put much effort, also to invest in youth, to invest in these young artists, because they need benchmarks. They need benchmarks that can allow them to successfully master their the various choices to live their life as artists and to be productive to the society, to the communities. So I think African Union should help us to network African artists effectively, not to keep working in solo, not to keep working, okay, I'm an artist in Rwanda, I have to close myself in this between 4 walls, but we need to effectively work together and get empowered. If you are talking about education, it's not only getting diploma or what, but we need African artists to come back to their African values, to come back to the human values, not just, some artists are ignoring with what we are dealing with in Africa. They just concerned by the views, by the followers, by the subscribers, but really they are still in the comfort zone. So we need something that can come and boost us and that can make us work together as one people to make this continent progress and transformed. Also, I would also to call upon leaders.
Yannick.
Sorry?
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to say thank you because later on we are going to ask you, our dearest panelists, about your recommendations. Okay. So thank you for your amazing, crucial, concise speech. We learn a lot about your experience and your thoughts about arts, youth, educations, because arts uncover and englobe each and everything
Okay,
in
thank
our
you.
life. And now, thank you, Yannick. And now I'd like to come back to Wams because he's back. Hello, Wams. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Wams.
Bonjour.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I'm back.
Once he has an internet connection problem, I will give you two minutes because you said that you didn't finish yet your speech, so you have two minutes, and I will move to Ryuva from Zimbabwe. My sister, she's waiting. You made her waiting too much. So, Wams, the floor is yours.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Guys, bear with me. It was a great speech, a great presentation, Yannick. I learned a lot from your presentation. So, as I was saying, what we are doing in my capacity of Cameroon chapter president of the Africa Artist Peace Initiative, during this COVID, I've been able to, with my team, mobilize young people because we couldn't be indifferent to what is going on in the country. We recruited some volunteers who took upon themselves to run errands on behalf
of sick and relatively vulnerable persons as far as COVID-19 is
concerned. We did that under the auspices of the Young Shield Old project that ran for 6 months. This was self-sponsored. We used music to play home concerts during this
pandemic.
So as to sensitize the public on the need to respect government measures that were put in place to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. However, there was also a constraint because there was no consequence. People were battling between life and livelihood. They were trying to stay safe. People have been trying to stay safe of COVID-19 and also trying to meet up with their daily needs. Because the war going on in my country has badly impacted, especially me and most of the other musicians from the area where we are. We took upon ourselves to be very active, in the seeking solutions to the problems that my country is facing. So at some point, COVID-19 didn't quite stop us from going about our activities because we had influx of people running away from the war-torn zones coming to the main city to seek refuge. We took upon ourselves as peace musicians to organize street shows where we could entertain some of these internally displaced persons, raise our voices so that the powers that be could get on the tables to dialogue to seek an end to the conflict that is ongoing. As it stands, we are currently working on a project called Silence the Guns Now, which is a peace song that is encouraging both parties to get on the dialogue table to end the conflict that has been on for 4 years now. We are working under the auspices of the Africa Artist Peace Initiative, plus my association, the Art for Peace Association in Cameroon, to put this project to create awareness first of all about the need for artists to engage in conscious music, because most art creative minds around here are mostly involved in pop music, commercial music that is not helping so far to bring the peace that is much needed in our community. And I think that what we need more now is a synergy of musicians creative minds that can work together, put their resources together, even though they are limited, to see how we can multiply our numbers. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. We as these musicians, the challenge we go through is that we most of the time not given the front line. We lack the necessary resources to make, to produce, promote, and even like motivational schemes that can motivate and get many other young people to want to follow in our footsteps. What I mean is, you take upon yourself to work on a peace project like I'm doing right now. You don't have any support whatsoever from your community, the Ministry of Arts and Culture. You are doing that all on your own, and you have to fight for attention with people who are doing popular music on the social media space. And you need to do this on your own. I think that to break out of this, what we're trying to do, and what I think most musicians have to do, is to work in synergies so that their voices can be louder. I'm looking at crossing the borders, intercontinental collaboration with fellows from different countries who are working in the same vein. I overheard Yannick talk about Rwanda, a couple of other musicians in Uganda, and in different African countries that I'm looking forward to collaborating with to kind of learn from their experience, to see how different their situation is on the ground, and how I can chart a way forward to mitigate the negative effects that I have as far as my country is concerned. But I'm very hopeful and positive that with the internet and with the advancements in technology, music knows no bounds. We are going to have a positive way forward as far as that is concerned. If you have specific questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Thank you, Ams. Thank you. Thank you, Ams, for your. Hello. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you, Ma.
Yeah. Thank you, Ams, for your deliver now. We are really pleased to listen to your experience, to your perspectives about the art, about the future of artists, about what you artists need, indeed. And now I'd like to move to my sister, Vashi Weenet Miti from Zimbabwe. And I hope that you are here. And before I'd like to say a few words about her. I want to introduce her and our followers who are watching.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. I'll be very swift in my speaking and just go straight to the point in terms of what is happening in the SADC region, which is the southern region, as well as my country, Zimbabwe. I've been listening to all the speakers lately, and indeed, some of the issues are cross-cutting. They are not only affecting Cameroon or Rwanda or either Tunisia. The same problems are also happening right here in Zimbabwe. So first and foremost, I'll speak for of the good things that are happening in Zimbabwe. The good thing is that our president of Zimbabwe, actually published and launched a policy for artists.
Hello? Hello? Unfortunately, reverse. Hello? You can hear me? Unfortunately, till she will come back, I'd like to introduce her for you. Vashi, she's Zimbabwean, and she's the founder and the CEO of Youth Vibes Africa. And currently, she's working as the youth development projects and she's the southern coordinator for Vashi. She's an influencer, public orator, and she has taken an extra mile to utilize mass media as a fundamental tool for her advocacy as a radio and television personality. So now we are in front of a famous and a real empowered woman from Southern Africa. Vashi, we are listening to you. And we are really proud about the whole work and your whole journey to promote youth rights and women rights in Southern Africa. You are such an African pride. The floor is yours. Hope that you can listen. Hope that you can listen to us now. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
I think I'm having a bad network on my end, but can you hear me?
We are listening to you perfectly. Please go ahead. We are waiting for your turn. Please, yeah, go ahead, Vashi.
Okay, thank you so much for that introduction. Sorry, my apologies, everyone, because I'm actually mobile right now. But I'll just be very swift and just get to the point because I'm cutting out. As I was saying, most of the issues that Rwanda as well as Tunisia, they are cross-cutting. They are almost similar to what is happening in the SADC region as well as in Zimbabwe. But the good thing in Zimbabwe is that our Excellency, the President, Emerson Mnangagwa, actually launched a policy for artists to say that
Hello? Sorry, Yassine, Brian. Can we give her one other minute, or we can text her because we are really excited to know. Southern, yeah, she's back now.
She's back.
She's back. Good.
okay. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes.
Listening to you perfectly. Just go ahead. Then what happened after the implementation of policies of your current president now?
Okay, yes, exactly. So I was saying that our president, Emerson Mnangagwa, actually allowed artists to have their own. He had a launch for artists to say they are now a priority to the Zimbabwean mandate, to the extent that they also need a diplomatic passport so that they can travel wherever they want to travel. But besides that, having seen the COVID-19 restrictions, artists had to do online, be it Facebook, be it YouTube. They had to do their singing online. And in the SADC region, we have sanctions that are upon our nations, right? And the whole SADC, the heads of states, actually had an online show for the artists because they understand that they cannot go into public spaces, they cannot actually visit people. But now, with the restrictions kept down, most Zimbabweans are able to do short shows with a maximum of probably 100 people. So most of the artists now, they were actually relying on their shows, but now it's actually good that they have revamped. They are back in place, and artists are able to actually perform. And it's only not the artists that perform. We also have artists who are into the art sector who do pictorial graphic and everything. And we had an amazing session of young artists from across Zimbabwe, especially Harare, that came together and said, be it COVID, be it not COVID, they were going to engage. So, my recommendations is that as SADC region, we saw ourselves not only falling and saying COVID is there and we are not going to do anything. We found and noticed that most people they were actually engaging, and they were involved a lot online. And we saw even artists having personal interactions with their fans, having personal interactions and actually answering questions with their fans, which was a point and time for them to reflect and actually focus on where to improve and not to improve. So basically, those are some of the achievements that we have seen in the sector of the arts. And we are also noting that most artists are engaging with international artists and they are performing online. This year, and we are going to have awards in the SADC region as well as Zimbabwe alone, where artists are going to be recognized of their achievements and what they have done in their communities. So basically, most have been said by my colleagues, Yannick, Wams. Everyone has actually basically said it all, because the issues are always cross-cutting, but the real question now is, have we been really affected by COVID? And if we have been affected by COVID, what is it that we have done? So has it destroyed us, or have we sure that everything is okay? So for Zimbabwe and the SADC region, I'll say most of the things are okay, and it's only a few artists who are crying to say maybe we are no longer called to functions and we do not have financial stability. So this is something that we need to look into in terms of financing our musicians, because they solely rely on their performance, and they also rely on them being invited for events and getting paid. So this is something that we need to look 2021 and beyond to say, even as organizations, what can we do to actually help musicians as well as artists, so that even their social welfare is catered for. So with all this, I say thank you so much, and I hope we have captured everything that I have said. And I really appreciate and thank everyone behind the scenes who have just made this event possible. Thank you so much. Merci. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. I really appreciate your speech, your deliverables. You are really concise. You are such an African pride. And I like to say something. Just I want to pick a quote. If it is under COVID, I know or not, we are keep engaging. We are continuing our fight. We will not stop working for Africa and to realize our African dreams. And please, Ruvashi, Yannick, Wams, and Professor Muhammad Semi, I will give you each one just 2 minutes to tell us about your recommendations, because the first aim of the webinar is to come up with recommendations to African government, to the African Union also, in order to enhance our advocacy to empower cultural sector in Africa and to empower our artists, in the whole of the continent. And let me come back to you, ladies first. My sister, what do you recommend? What do you recommend to the African Union? Hello, Rivashi, can you hear me? Quickly, I'd like to know about your recommendations. Rivashi, I think she's not ready. And okay, but she mentioned it on her last speech. Okay, I really want to keep her because I don't want to feel a woman alone. I want to see my sister on my sides.
Nice.
Great. And it's nice also to see you. And let me start with the ones from Cameroon in 2 minutes. Tell me about
Hi,
your
Brian.
recommendation. Later, Yannick, then Mr. Muhammad Semi. And Brian, you are the last one. You're going to be the last one.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Recommendations, Wams. What do you recommend? Hello? Wams, you are not ready, right?
Okay, recommendations. Hi, Brian.
Yes.
Yes. My recommendations. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Did I go
Can you
ahead?
hear
Yes,
me?
We can hear you perfectly.
yes, very clearly.
Okay, I can type it as well.
Yes.
Go on.
My recommendations to the African Union and my recommendations to the African Union and other sister organizations that have the charge to take care of Africa is that we need to encourage more of South-South cooperation. Like we need to see many more Africans collaborate in the different walks of life generally, and in the arts and creative industries specifically. Uh, COVID-19 has come to show us how much we need to be together as Africans to make things work for us. If I were to speak to, talk to the African Union, one thing I'll put at the center is that we need to see many more synergy in terms of efforts, global effort, continental efforts across the board to galvanize and consolidate the rich cultural heritage that Africa has, from Johannesburg in South Africa up to Cairo in Egypt, across to the Great Lakes in the east of Africa, right to West Africa. I think Africa has got a lot of rich cultural heritage that we need a good continental policies, harmonized continental policies that can be able to create awareness, expose, market, and develop an industry, a creative industry that is can be sustained, wherein an artist in Douala, Cameroon, can freely move because talking about what the African Union can do specific for us who are from Central African sub-region, we only have paperwork. We have an economic sub-region that is more of theory than practical. We have There is the West African economic sub-region. There is South, I think SADC. There is the Northern Africa sub-region. There is the Central Africa sub-region, economic sub-region. As unfortunately is not working for us at all. We just have. I cannot leave Cameroon to Gabon in Central Africa, or to Chad or Central African Republic with my passport freely. I cannot move to go and do collaboration with another musician or artist in that country. It is just it's frustrating that amongst ourselves, our politics don't enable us to collaborate easily. Whereas when I got to West Africa, that was last year, it was quite easy for me to find musicians and creative minds from Nigeria, moving across to Senegal, Mali, and very freely. Maybe just on a bus, you just move freely without having to get a visa whatsoever to cross cut across the borders. Unfortunately for us in Central Africa, it's still to be a reality. I'm calling on the African Union to work in close collaboration with the powers that be in my sub-region to make this collaboration amongst African countries a common reality. And secondly, I would call on the units in the African Union that are much more concerned with the creative industries to kind of decentralize uh, initiatives, resources that is within their that they dispose. They should be able to decentralize it so that individual countries and individual organizations within specific countries can be able to benefit from the available resources and human material resources that are there to help to develop the creative industries. What I mean is, I should be able to, with my organization in Cameroon, I should be able to directly get in touch with the body at the African Union that can support in terms of human, material, and financial resources in whatever kind of project that I'm undertaking to promote arts, culture, and the creative industry in Cameroon. Specifically, I think that if we have those two in place, we can move forward. With that in place, it's just going to be a springboard where African creative minds can express themselves as they should for us to get things going.
Thank you,
I think I'll stop there.
Thank you, Ams. You have to stop. Thank you. Now let's give the floor to Yannick and Mr. Mohammed Semibchi before we close. Thank you. Yannick, the floor is yours.
Merci bien. Donc oui, tout à fait d'accord justement avec tous les intervenants, tous nos chers compatriotes africains. Je pense qu'il faut adopter une politique programmatique et pragmatique, une politique culturelle qui soutient les artistes africains. Et ça, c'est vraiment une nécessité vitale et élémentaire, c'est-à-dire qu'il faut que les établissements, qu'ils soient des fondations privées, étatiques ou autres, se chevauchent, soit autour justement de ce but plutôt ultime, c'est de promouvoir l'art et la culture africaine et d'être, comme disait notre cher ami Yannick, être comme un homme, un seul homme, c'est-à-dire avoir la même volonté et la même disposition pour pousser justement les créateurs et les artistes et les acteurs de la culture africaine afin de ne pas baisser les bras, afin que la culture africaine soit en avant et peut graduellement résoudre justement cette situation de pandémie 19 et de faire face justement à ces difficultés tout en traçant une stratégie appropriée, une stratégie africaine appropriée qui s'inspire justement des résolutions internationales proposées justement par les autres continents, mais nous aussi, les Africains, nous avons l'habitude de confronter des problèmes aussi graves et nous savons comment en sortir indemne. Donc, je propose justement de retrouver des accompagnements pour les créateurs, pour les artistes, pour les fondations, pour les galeristes et aussi surtout créer des plateformes communes intra-africaines. C'est-à-dire, on doit vraiment promouvoir l'échange africain-africain et voir comment on peut évoluer ensemble et créer des politiques de voisinage culturel. Voilà ce que je propose en amont.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Semibchi. Thank you for your remarks and your recommendations, which is based deeply on in enhancing the inter-African dialogue and to exchange the good practices between African countries, because Mr. Mohammed Semi believes that that for us Africans, if we really want to raise up and to realize our dream and to stand by ourselves, we have to get more close and more and to show more solidarity between us. So solidarity, working together are our path to overcome this COVID-19 crisis and to overcome the bad heritage and impact of colonizations, and to realize the Africa we really deeply want. I give the floor to Yannick, and thank you, Mr. Mohammed Semi. Thank you, Vashi and Rams, for your kind and concise recommendations. And the best for the last. Yannick, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maha.
You're welcome.
So I would like to say this. The pandemic, this sanitary crisis is one thing, and this is something that happened unexpectedly. And I would like to remind you that unexpected challenges will remain there, will come again. This is one thing. So something else I want to say by this is that Once the concerns of youth are taken into serious consideration and are effectively dealt within a country, great success and progress can be expected. Here, I want to call upon the African Union again to invest in youth, to invest in these young artists if we need to see the effective change and progress of this continent also to be liberated. Also, I would like also to emphasize again on calling African Union to help us to network these elite artists who have been, who are, effectively working in solo and impact, but to help us to bring us together and to work in network and see how we can make this continent shine. Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Yannick, for your kind remarks. And we now, unfortunately, the webinar is close to end. And before we close it, I really like to say shukran, merci infiniment, Bataman
Shukran.
Really, I'm really happy and pleased to see you, my fellow Africans, my fellow artists, in this panel. And we are really concerned about the situation of artists. But despite of all these difficulties and what we Africans we have been through, I still believe in better future, because you, Yannick, Professor Mohammed Samir, Vashi, Wams, Brian, you African champions, you are here. How Africa is lucky to have you as children's, as supporters, as African champion. Thank you for the whole your efforts. I'm really happy and honored to moderate such a beautiful, deep and amazing panel like this. Thank you for giving me this honor. And I like to give the floor to Brian and Yassine from Ifriqiya, because thanks to them these events could happen. And before I leave you guys, I really want to ask you to send us your speeches and your recommendations by email to enable AAPI to share it on her network. Thank you. Brian, please.
Thank you so much, Maha. It's quite a pleasure to be part of the discussion this day. I've had a chance to listen to all of us. A very nice, very great insights, especially from Wams, Yannick, and Professor Mohamed. Though I couldn't hear the French, but I think I had some very nice things to say. I would think at least or at most 3 recommendations I'd like to put forward. Like I mentioned earlier, many countries have put up funds available for the artists to take advantage of, at least ease their burden during COVID-19. What I'd like to stress is the countries which have yet not put up these funds to do so, and those that have done so, to include the artists in the boards and in designing how these funds will operate. So at least the artist should have a space or a say in how these funds operate. Another one I wanted to say is availability of psychosocial support. There are a lot of mental health issues, artists committing suicide, artists being depressed. So there should be resources available to these artists in one central place, be they online, be they through mass media like TV, but these things should be there available for the artist. So at least they can know where to get the help if they need help. If they're depressed, are there phone numbers to call? If they're under counsel on board, are they available? So on and so forth. And the last thing I wanted to put across as a recommendation I think that is it. Those two main issues: providing psychosocial support and involving artists in design and implementation of the funds. Otherwise, I want to thank you all. Thank you, Wams, Professor Mohammed, Ruva, and Yannick for being available. We really appreciate, and we hope more of this will continue as you highlight the voices of artists in Africa as they embrace COVID-19. That's all on my end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words and warm greetings to Kenya, to my brother and sisters
Thank
there.
you. Well
Thank you.
received.
And thank you. And I'd like to ask Mr. Aziz on behalf of Ifriqiya Association, please.
Thank you, Mrs. Ma. We are so proud to organize and to participate in such webinar like this. The participation was very good, very interesting speeches. I'm happy to be a part from you. I hope Africa will engage more to the webinars like that, and I hope cooperation between Africans artists will be more than the situation of today. Thank you for everything. Thank you for sharing experiences, for those important features of today, and goodbye.
Thank you for you too. Thank you, Aziz. Thank you. Hello? You can hear me, all of you, right? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Thank you, Aziz. Merci infiniment. يعطيك الصحة. You're welcome. And I like all of the panelists to come together and let's make not selfie, but let me say it like a screenshot to all of us.
Of course.
Rivashi, Yassine, Brian,
Sure.
Mohammed Sami, all of you, can you come together? Let's do. Okay, let me do it.
A selfie.
Okay, screenshot, not selfie.
Online selfie. Oh, okay.
Okay, great. I'll make the screenshot and tag all of
Brian.
Let me put my makeup first. My makeup is missing, so will I
your
look good
makeup.
in the camera?
I didn't miss my makeup.
Okay. All right. Take a quick one.
Great. Another screenshot. Rivashi, your beautiful smile, please.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Duck smile. I like a lady. I have to.
Viva Africa.
Yes, long live for Africa.
Where is she?
Long live for Africa.
Mohammed is not smiling.
Mr. Please, your smile, Mr. Mohammed.
Professor Smile.
Great. Thank you. Merci infiniment. As we said in Tunisia,
Shukran.
God bless all of you. It's
right.
really a pleasure to have you today and see you next time. Long live for African artists.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye, guys. Aziz,
Bye.
Prof,
Au revoir.
Ryan, Yannick, thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Bye-bye.
Catch you guys soon.